Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. We've got the Deltaforce 29 build on the block, okay? This is part 3, I think. Today we're going to be working with some carbon fiber. We're going to be laying up some carbon fiber, making a servo mount, a motor mount, and a battery tray for this build. I've done a lot of like figuring calculations. I kind of done 2 or 3 mock-ups of my mounts here. I'm gonna walk you guys through it, and then we're gonna make them. So stick around. Big B, we're Ironclad RC. How you guys like the new tabletop? Pretty cool, huh? It makes the video pop with that black. My wife works at Food Line, and they were remodeling Food Line, and they're throwing out this sheet a 1/4 inch, like it's like a synthetic. It's not wood. It's not a synthetic wood. It's almost like a I don't even freaking know. But oh man, it's really nice. I got some more. I might make some boat stands out of it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you, Food Line. All right. The Johnson 5, the Seahorse 5. Okay. Kind of theming the boat out from an old Johnson outboard motor. With my battery tray, I'm actually going to cut that Seahorse logo out. Okay, I'll probably make it about this size so we don't weaken our battery tray. So I figured I would kind of add some style, maybe give you guys an idea for your build. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be making the battery tray out of this 1.5 millimeter thick carbon fiber I laid up about a week ago or a few days ago. It's four ply, 4 layers of 3K 6-ounce TWILL. So we're actually going to do a break test here in a minute. I want to see how strong it is. And this is actually on the edge, you know, the outer edge where it's weak at. So I need to cut that off anyway. So we're going to kind of do a pressure test, make sure it's okay to put in the boat, which it's 4 layers. I'm sure it is. All right, so that's the battery tray. Okay, now my motors. This is why I hadn't really uploaded a video on this boat here lately, because I'm like teeter-totting back and forth on how far apart I want my motors. So I've actually made up 2 different motor mounts here. This motor mount, oh, let me get my LOL doll pencil out the way. All right, this motor mount right here is 63 millimeters apart, and I don't think I want my motors that far apart. Okay, for one, if they're that far apart on the transom, they would be like mounted up high on the transom, and I don't think my props would be where I want them while we're running. So that motor mount right there is out. So I made another motor mount, kept in mind that I possibly will run a 3650 in the boat at one point or another. Okay, later on I might do a motor upgrade. I'm definitely going to go 29 series, but I might go 36 series later on. Maybe it'll probably be like a year from now. But keeping that in mind, I've actually spaced my motors 50 millimeters apart. Okay, and I've got them raised off the deck of the boat. Well, on this one, they're 18 millimeters. This one right here, I couldn't fit the 36 millimeter motor in. They were touching, like on the bottom. So on this motor mount, I went 18 millimeters. Okay, 18 millimeters, 50 millimeters apart. All right, 50 millimeters apart. I kind of got that number from the largest sized propeller I think I would run on this boat, and that's the absolute largest prop I think this boat will take is a 45 millimeter prop. Okay, 45 millimeters. I'm going 50, so that will leave me about 5 millimeters gap in between 2 45 mil props. You got me? That's kind of where I got my number at. And that seemed like it was a good space, and I can get them low enough to the keel that we'll have some good performance. Okay, this is my first twin motor build, so I'm just kind of walking you through my thought process. And you guys are probably wondering why I have this piece of angle metal in here. This is what I'm going to make my motor mounts out of. Okay, this piece of angle metal. It's the only way I could figure to mount up my servo. Center mounted. You know, I know it's going to be heavy and all, but I hope you guys didn't freaking believe me. One of my subscribers actually gave me a good idea the other day. For my center mounted servo, they've got to be stood up. And I was thinking about bending a piece of plexiglass like a U, okay, and laying carbon fiber over the plexiglass, okay, 2 or 3 ply over the plexiglass, let it cure out, okay, and that would give me a mount that I just cut the servo hole in. You feel me? So one of my subscribers actually said, mentioned to do a U-shaped aluminum mount, like a channel, a piece of channel, and lay my carbon fiber on the channel, pull it, you know, wax the aluminum, pull it, and I'll have a U-shaped servo mount for my citra mounted servo. And I was like, well, that's a freaking good idea. I don't have any freaking aluminum, so I've been wet sanding this piece of angle metal. I'm going to basically use your idea to get like a hard corner, but this is how I'm going to design my mount, my servo mount. And I'm probably going to kick myself in the ass, but I want it to look cool. Okay, this is just an old servo I'm using for reference here. Okay, so it's going to be epoxied into the boat right here. Okay, you guys see that? All right, and then on the other side, look at this, check this out. Oh, isn't that cool? Oh man, that's a freaking cool, that's a cool servo mount, man. I was trying to kind of think something different, something outside the box. You know, I can't remember who mentioned that, and I looked in the comments and I couldn't remember which video he commented on. But thank you. You know who you are. Thank you. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that corner of the angle here. I'm going to lay the fabric and epoxy the fabric on that angle right there. Go 3 ply, maybe 4. Okay, and that'll give me a hard corner, and I'll cut like a diagonal out of it. Both of these, they're the same angle. You know, both of them are the same angle, so I'll just cut 2 side by side out of my angle, and I'll have a piece of extra angle carbon fiber left over for a future project. But thanks for the idea, and I didn't use the idea fully, but I used portion of it to they messed up showing me how to work with carbon fiber, man. Oh, I love this stuff. I thought I liked working with freaking fiberglass, but hell no, I like this carbon fiber. I'm falling in love with it. I really am. There's so much you can do with this stuff. Maybe we'll go 4. Who knows? Who freaking knows? So how am I going to lay this up? Because I'm thinking if I lay it up like this, then I'll probably have like a little air bubble right here. So I'll probably need to like prop it up on something so the edges are hanging off. That ain't going to freaking work. So let's find something to put on it. Maybe a block of wood. What is this? Probably gonna be a long freaking video, you guys. It's a lot of work doing this stuff. Yeah, that's gonna work. One of my old sanding blocks that got bowed. Okay, and yeah, so I've already waxed it. I'm gonna go grab that. I'm gonna go grab the wax just so it don't stick to it. Okay, so we're back in the in-house shop. Our carbon fiber's kicking off out there. While it's kicking off, I figured I would kind of go over how I got the template for the transom or my motor mounts. Okay, so basically I got a piece of cardboard. I cut a straight edge on the top of the cardboard. All right, and then basically I stood my boat up and down so I could put some like pressure on the cardboard. I lined that straight edge up with my seam and traced the transom of the boat out. Okay, then I cut it out with scissors. All right, then I used an adjustable ruler and this angle gauge right here to mark out my lines using this straight edge on the seam. You feel me? So now I basically have my template cut out. I can trim up the ends, because it won't fit in the boat. You know what I'm saying? So I need to trim up the ends. I was waiting to show you guys to do that. Also want to throw this out there to you. So this is called dead rise, this flat spot on the bottom of your boat. So the dead rise you have back here, it's not the same as it is up here. So that the dead rise is lower in the back, and it gradually gets deeper the farther forward on the boat you go. Okay, so that being said, I'll show you. So you guys see how this original template, it don't quite fit the transom anymore. Okay, because I've got it trimmed up so it fits forward in the boat. Alright, so I basically have that marked out on my new one. Okay, taking all that into account, so I can put 36mm motors in later on. I'll have plenty of room to run these with the height I have on the mount. But like I said, I want to be able to run, there goes the turn fin. I want to be able to run 36 series motors in the boat. Okay, so that's basically what it'll look like with 36mm motors, and they'll be a little bit closer together because this one's, like I said, a little bit farther apart. So just wanted to kind of go over that with you. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut out, and let's go ahead and do a brake test on this before I start fast forwarding, because this is what I'm gonna make my battery tray out of. Okay, so when you lay up carbon fiber, the edges need to be trimmed up. You guys can see the weave where it's tethered on the edge right there. So I basically need to cut that, 1/8 of an inch off all the way around. So keep that in mind when I break this. We got some tethered weave right here on the corner, and basically that part right there is all good. Okay, so let's try to break it. Focus. I'm actually putting, I would say about 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, damn, 15, 16 pounds of pressure, starting to crack. Okay, so that's actually good. Okay, that's just a little piece, and we're on that tethered area. So I trust this with my batteries. Actually, I was messing around after I cut the camera off a while ago. I retraced my transom on a new piece of cardboard, and I was kind of mounting up these stingers right here, kind of trying to figure how high off the bottom of the boat, the dead rise, I need to drill my hole for my stuffing tube. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of glad I did, because this one right here, I documented it as I drilled them, my center hole. And this one right here, I drilled it a little bit low. Okay, I'm trying to get them as low on the transom as I can, because these stingers are actually pretty, like the barrel is really high. It's like 2 millimeters higher than a traditional style stinger. You guys see how this one's set up? It's like low. You can get it like in line with the bottom of the boat. Okay, these are not like that, and it's really got me worried. It really does. It's got me worried because this boat actually has some forward transom angle. You guys see how it's got a forward slant? So my transom's basically going to be sitting like this. I've got these stingers dropped down as low as they'll go. Okay, and it's barely even neutral trim, no negative trim at all. Okay, so I'm going to have to file out my brackets right here before I mount them on the boat. I'm glad I checked this. And I want this piece right here as low to the bottom as I can get it, kind of like this one. So I'm kind of thinking I might drill it out at that depth and file some off the bottom side right here, so I can get it down a little bit lower. Every little bit helps, I believe. Like this boat right here, like on my I had this stinger right here on my big Deltaforce, and I actually filed to the threads. I filed it so I can get it as low as I could on my Deltaforce transom. You know what I'm saying? So I might kind of do the same thing to this guy right here. Also, this crossed my mind. So when you're building a twin motor mono, well, I don't know. This is just my guess. When you're building a twin motor mono, you need to make sure the kV of the motors, or you know, will like is low enough, or they have enough torque for one motor to support the boat. Okay, so you're in a straight, both props are in the water. You're in the water. Okay, no big deal. You're dispersing the load between two motors. In a turn, the boat banks over, one propeller's out of the water basically, or almost out the water. So basically the load from the boat is going to be put on one motor if you're doing ovals constantly in a turn. So the kV of that motor needs to be low enough to support the weight of the boat basically. You feel me? I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud. But we'll find out soon enough, because I was thinking about putting those 4,000 kV 2968s in this boat, and kind of second guessing it after I've done this and kind of tinkering around, you know, thinking out loud here. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Alright, so I'll turn the camera back on tomorrow. When this is all cured, we'll pull it and we'll start cutting. Okay? Hopefully this stuff's helping you guys. Y'all let me know. So it actually turned out pretty good, you guys. It turned out pretty good. I got all the edges cut, you know, where it's tethered and thin, and we got a nice solid piece of carbon fiber. I went 5 layers on it so it wouldn't have any flex. You know what I'm saying? Because it's holding the servo, and pretty happy with it. Hindsight, I wish I would have laid my carbon fiber out on the inside, you know, cleaned and polished the inside of the angle so that we would have a nice outside. But I actually think it turned out pretty good. You know, got a nice sharp corner on the inside. The outside's a little bit rounded because I had to like build it up, you know. So I'll probably end up sanding and profiling it here, because the inside turned out great. See how flat it is? Just something for you guys to think about when you're laying yours up. I thought about that halfway through the layup. I was like, geez, I did it ass backwards. It was driving me nuts, you guys. So I actually, I laid up another piece. Okay, I didn't go 5 layers like I did this one. By the way, 5 layers of carbon fiber is 2mm thick, just so you guys know if you're hand laying it. Okay, so I hit the inside with an 80, 180, 220, 500 wet sanded, 400 and 500 wet sanded. Then I waxed it like I did the outside. Okay, what I did different with this one, I got some carbon Kevlar sandwiched in between it. Basically half of it's carbon Kevlar, so it's 4 layers. One of the 4 is carbon Kevlar. Okay, this piece right here, the outside, it was driving me nuts. I needed a nice crisp angle for this to work out. Okay, and that just wasn't going to cut it. So that's where thinking stuff out and planning comes into play. Okay, so you'll see this in the next video. I just laid it up tonight, publishing a video tonight. You guys will see it tomorrow. But yeah, so I got everything laid out on my carbon fiber. Okay, I actually laid out the holes, 2 sets of holes, 1 set for a 36mm motor, 1 set for 28 and 29mm. Okay, got it laid out on my carbon fiber. I'm gonna go out to the shop. I'm not gonna video it. I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. I got the battery tray laid out as well. It's a little bit larger because I'm gonna have to sand some angles on it to fit in the V here. Okay, and once I get it cut out, I'll lay out my slits and the seahorse logo. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like when I got it all cut out. Okay, so I got my battery tray cut to size. Okay, I made it as skinny as I could to get the batteries as low as I can in the boat. You feel me? So that the outside, like 3 or 4 millimeters on the battery, is actually going to be touching the dead rise on the boat, but that's okay. We have it carbon fibered. You got to figure the straps are going to be coming out, so it wouldn't actually be sitting on the boat. I actually made it the same width. Actually, it's a little bit wider than the battery tray in the Dominator. You guys see how how skinny this battery tray is. Okay, and the batteries are sitting on the bottom of the boat, about 5 or 6 millimeters on each side. So I think that's going to work. I'm about to cut the slits out, mark all that out. Been working on my motor mount, trying to get it conformed to the bottom of the boat, and I think that's about the angle I'm going to run right here. Okay, something like that. Boom. Okay, as I was doing it, I would use my adjustable ruler, make sure my motors are the same height from the bottom on both of them. Make sure I've got a pilot hole drilled. I don't know if you guys see that pilot hole. So I'll drill that pilot hole, just checking everything as I make it, as I sand material off. I actually had it out in the shop. I don't like sanding carbon fiber in the house, so yep, that's gonna work. Okay, so I'm gonna get everything, I'm gonna get my slits cut in and the holes drilled for the motor. Alright, so I got my carbon fiber marked out. I used the drill, you know, to indicate where I need to stop. Also put paint there, because I've actually went past where I need to stop at and kind of messed up some of my previous battery trays. So this is a good way to show you where to end your cut. Okay, and I'm just gonna clamp my ruler down to the bench out there, use this little thin cutting wheel for my Dremel, and boom, just go down it. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I got my slits cut out. That actually turned out really good. I'm glad I marked it in so I didn't make any boo-boos, you know. It actually turned out really good. So I got my light tracer right here, and my seahorse logo that we're going to put on our battery tray. I was kind of tempted not to do this because I was afraid it may weaken the battery tray. So I actually traced it out smaller than what it was. And I don't think it's gonna weaken it. I think it'll be good. That one right there is probably the worst one, but we'll see. Hell, if I gotta cut another one out, I got a big enough piece of carbon fiber right there, I can cut another one out. So I'm gonna use my X-Acto knife, cut this out, and then trace it onto the carbon fiber, cut it out with the Dremel. Oh man, that's gonna be cool, you guys. It is. That's gonna be boss. All right. So be kind of cool to put one here and then flip it over and put one on the other side. But I'm probably gonna regret doing this because it's gonna take freaking forever to cut this out and make it look good. So oh yeah, the seahorse, baby, that looks good, huh? So I'm actually kind of glad I didn't, you know, do one on each side, because when I have my strap on you wouldn't see them. So I'm kind of glad I went with the single one in the middle. Not bad for not having a CNC cutter, right? Huh? Some people forget how to use their freaking hands when they're building stuff. Not Big B. Alright, the slits come out alright. I kind of filed them, and I took a piece of balsa and glued a piece of sandpaper on there so I can kind of fine tune it, you know. But that looks cool. Looks cool. I don't think I'm going to do the straps on the end. I think this would be fine. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and drill out the holes for this guy, because I want to go ahead and mount up my 28 millimeter motors, see how high they are in the boat, and my 36 millimeter motors, because I may need to go around and take about 3 millimeters off the bottom of this all the way, well, on both sides, to lower it. I want to get my motors, I basically want to get that 36 millimeter motor where the can is like a millimeter from touching the boat. Get those as low as I can, so my 28 millimeter motors are as low as I possibly can get them in the boat. Okay, so I got my motor holes drilled. Okay, and I like to actually drill a little pilot hole for my motors when I'm making motor mounts. I also do it for my transom. Okay, I'll mark out my exact measurements, drill a little pilot hole, and then I can put it up against the light, make sure my motor mounting screw holes are lined up with the pilot hole. If they're not, you could take your small drill bit and kind of like ream it out to the left or to the right, up or down, whatever the case may be, so that you get a perfect hole. Okay, so it's not like wallered and reamed out, you know, so you get a nice tight fit and it looks clean. Okay, so I got my motor sitting in there. I need to drill out the 5mm shaft so we can put the 36mm motors in, but that actually is looking pretty good. I do think it's going to be a little bit too high as it sits now, so I probably will take some off the bottom. So let me go ahead and drill it out for the 5mm shaft so we can see what it looks like with the big boys in there. Okay, I got the big dogs in. Okay, well, I could take some off the bottom, but I could leave it like it is. But I'm trying to get it low as I can in the boat, my motors, my CG, you know, so I could actually go another couple millimeters, which is probably what I'll do, you know, in between this video and the next video. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that would be freaking epic. 23650, 2000 kVs, boy. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I'm gonna wrap the video up. I did not realize it's this long. It's like 20 some odd minutes long right now. So yeah, I kind of did a dry setup for you guys so you could kind of see what it looks like. I think that's too cool, man. That really kind of over the top. Okay, in between videos, like I said, I'm going to work on the motor mount. All right, I got to drill the 36mm mounting holes. Kind of glad I set it up because now I see I'm going to probably need to drill like a hole for my cooling line because I want to get these ESCs as low as I can too. You know what I'm saying? So I'll probably drill a hole through there because we're going to be running through hole water pickups. We're going to do that in the next video. Drill a hole, we're going to run a brass tube, 5/32 brass tube through it. All right. I didn't make the servo mount because I actually want to like put a little bit more design and thought into it. In the next one, we're actually going to, like I said, do the water pickups. While we're doing that, we'll probably drill the holes for the stingers and get the stuffing tubes run through there so we can figure out where we're going to mount the motors like permanently and the angles we're going to put in it. So yeah, I kind of walked you guys through a lot of stuff that I normally don't walk you through. Like I do this right here for a lot of my boats. You know, I'll actually, you know, trying to get my stinger and struts as low as I can type deal on the keel. I'll pre-drill it. You know, I do that for a lot of stuff. You know, with my templates, I make 2 or 3 of them and come up with the best design, what I'm happy with, before I go cutting carbon fiber, wasting material, putting unnecessary holes, wallering holes out in my boat. I try to, you know, really think about this stuff because, you know, you spend a lot of money on a boat. You don't want to freaking ruin it by misdrilling or you know what I'm saying, misplacing something. So I like to think my stuff out, like probably too well. So hopefully everything I went over in the video helps you guys out. You know, twin motor build for me, twin motor mono. There's not a lot of information online, so I'm kind of like really thinking my way through this one, you know, especially being a YouTube channel, and I'm trying to give you guys quality information, you know, so I'm really putting some thought into it, you know. Don't want to steer you guys the wrong way because it's super easy for me to do that, and I try not to, you know what I mean. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, drop a comment if you guys can help me out. Hopefully I helped you out. Big B with Ironclad RC, the Seahorse.